Testing. All right. Welcome everyone to Sherwood City Council meeting December 7th, 2021. Would everyone all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Roll call, Sylvia.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
Council President Rosner is absent. Councilor Garland.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Young.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have approval of the agenda.
I make a motion.
Second.
Thank you, Russell and Kim. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The agenda is approved. Consent agenda. We've got 3 items on the consent agenda. Item A is approval of the November 16th, 2021 City Council meeting minutes. Item B is Resolution 2021-099, authorizing the city manager to sign public utility easement dedication agreement and deeds adjacent to property owned by the city at 20159 Roy Rogers Road to the benefit of Washington County for the construction of the Southwest Roy Rogers Road improvements. And item C is Resolution 2021-0100, authorizing the issuance of gift certificates to members of the city's board and commissions. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move consent.
Second.
Thank you, Kim and Russell. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Citizen comments. Time for citizens to address council on a topic that they might have. We have 1 or 2 or 3 today, Sylvia?
Mayor, we have 2.
2, and so we have submitted in writing. Sylvia will read it, at least as much as she can read in 4 minutes.
So this first comment is from Dave Sweeney, and it reads, Dear Mayor and council members, there seems to be developer violations on the west side of Cedar Creek, the sanitary sewer extension for the Brookman Road development. Basically, the wetland area on the west side of Cedar Creek across from the south side of Arbor Lane has been stripped clean of vegetation, only some of which has been replanted. There's a spot where the land has been stripped right up to the edge of the creek itself. This is supposed to be a protected wetland, and it seems we are doing a terrible job of protecting it. Why has so much of the forest there been stripped and only part of it replanted? Why has the developer been allowed to strip the land right up to the edge of the creek? Why has so much of that area only been partially replanted? If we as a town fail to protect our wetlands, who is going to? Certainly not the developers. The following is from the Clean Water Services document, Sensitive Areas and Vegetated Corridors, Chapter 3, December 2019, Sensitive Areas and Vegetated Corridors, R&O 19-5, amended by R&O 19-22, Chapter 3, page 11. Section 3.05.5, Utility Infrastructure. A, construction of utility infrastructure, including but not limited to storm and sanitary sewers, sanitary lateral, water mains, phones and cable lines, power lines and gas lines, shall be allowed if all of the following conditions are met. 1, the permanent utility corridor is no greater than 20 feet wide. 2, the temporary construction access corridor is no greater than 50 feet wide. There is a spot where the construction corridor is 90 feet wide. See attached photos and video. Item 3, native trees greater than 6 inches DBH are not removed. While there are some native trees that were not cut down, many Douglas firs of a foot or more in diameter were cut down. Bullet 4, the impacted areas of the vegetated corridor is re-vegetated to good corridor conditions. Only part of the stripped vegetated corridor has been re-vegetated. See attached photos and video. There needs to be accountability here, signed Dave Sweeney. Mayor and council, the photos and the video that Mr. Sweeney submitted will be included in the council meeting record. Let me get to my other one. The other one comes from Neil Shannon, and it reads, to the City of Sherwood Parks Board and City Council. Over the last few months, I and several of my neighbors have brought forward to the board and council our concerns and hopes regarding the development of the Brookman Road concept area. Bringing these concerns to you via the citizen comment process can be frustrating, particularly during this time of virtual meetings, because so little feedback is received in return. I have a question for you as the Parks Board or City Council. What are you doing about studying the concerns and moving forward to address the issues of how parks in Sherwood are created and address the needs that the citizenship has so clearly stated in the Parks Master Plan adopted less than 6 months ago? The Brookman Road Concept Plan clearly outlined the goals of Parks and Recreation as the city expanded southward. The City of Sherwood Parks Master Plan adopted this year refined and defined those goals, yet the city is failing to do anything to meet those goals. It is unfortunate that opportunities are being lost by allowing the developers to define their own concepts of parks. These opportunities have been lost because of lack of involvement by the Parks Board that allows the developers to dictate the location of new park areas. Ms. Hyduk, in her appearance before the Parks Board last month, indicated that, in quotes, there are parks that are being provided by the subdivision, unquote. The approved Middlebrook subdivision documents indicate that a portion of the required open space, Tract B, chosen by the developer without consultation with the Parks Board, is their idea of what a city park should be. Let me be clear, I am not objecting to the location of a park in the Middlebrook subdivision. It is lovely grass-covered area, and may I repeat, may be a useful field for future sports activity. What I do object to is the process heavily weighted by the developer and without the citizen feedback provided by the Parks Board. In addition, as outlined in the Parks Master Plan, while this open area in Middlebrook may meet the goal, to quote the Parks Master Plan, of a full-size sports field, one be geared toward nature play. It does nothing towards the goal of establishing trails into natural areas with trailheads and wayfindings. Please work with staff and see what can be done to save some of the last available natural areas of Cedar Creek and its tributaries so clearly outlined in the Parks Master Plan, and to make it available to the citizens of Sherwood to enjoy. I also request the City Council, when they meet to establish the goals of the city next year, make the establishment of natural areas within the Brookman Road concept area a high priority. Thank you for your attention, Neil Shannon.
Thank you, Sylvia. I sent a note earlier to Keith. Potentially the most sanitary sewer line extensions. I know there's one being done. It's either being done by the city. I think it's being done by Clean Water Services. I don't know if it's the same one, but I know there was going to be a significant one being done down there. And between Parks Board and City, we are working on parks. It's absolutely a thing. We might not be picking land that's in the backyard of people who are asking for land to be protected in their backyard, but that happens. Next is public hearings. Sylvia, we have 3 public hearings tonight, all second readings of proposed ordinances.
Did she
Sylvia,
freeze?
Sylvia, we're going to
I gotcha.
Sylvia, are you going to read
Mayor,
the
can you
required? Go ahead.
Yes, I was on mute and I will start over again.
No
Happens
problem.
to the
It
best
hap-
of us.
Right, happens to the best of us.
I'm assuming you can hear me now. All right, so let me start over again. The Sherwood City Council will hold public hearings this evening to hear testimony on 3 agenda items. Ordinance 2021-010, amending sections of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code for residential design standards. Item B, Ordinance 2021-011, adopting the Sherwood Economic Opportunities Analysis 2021 as a sub-element of the comprehensive plan. And item C, Ordinance 2021-012, amending the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan Ordinance 1978-689 as amended to replace in its entirety the current comprehensive plan with updated comprehensive plan goals and policies. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present the staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will then consider any testimony, and Mayor and Council, as the Mayor noted, we have not received any testimony for any of these items. We will then close the public hearing, final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. This is the second hearing before the City Council on all 3 of these items. A decision may be made by the council at the close of this hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain. If the matter is continued to a date certain, this is the only notice of that date you will receive.
Thank you, Sylvia. Erica, are you going to take over these 3?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight before you, the first public hearing is the residential design standards. It is the second reading tonight. We haven't received additional public testimony since your last meeting. And with that, I really don't have any additional information to provide you with this evening, but I can, if you have any questions, I can definitely provide you some answers.
Awesome. So first, we will close the public hearing portion of this ordinance public hearing. And questions for Erica. I've got one. So not to want to make any changes to what we're doing, but is there, and without going back and reviewing this after I had my question, and that's bad on me and I apologize, but I know this is all on the tip of your tongue or your front of your cranium, and you'll be able to answer it quick. Do developers, if they find that they are in a good position for solar, have the ability to adapt the roof to maximize the solar or get closer to maximizing the solar potential of the roof of the new project?
Yes. So the standards that we have put together do not prohibit, solar or rooftop activity with solar panels. We do have an energy conservation chapter already in our existing code that talks about solar and energy conservation
Yeah, but they have the ability. There's the
yes.
current ability to put a different type of roof design that you might do,
Yes, it
to
doesn't
adapt it to get a better solar whatever rating.
That is correct. So we don't limit, pitches, roof pitch in these design standards. So there is an opportunity for different roof pitches that would allow for, better access to solar. We do talk about roof type materials, and we do, the materials that we do list in the code, would allow, for future, solar installation on rooftops.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Go ahead.
I was just going to add that having sat through all these hearings, I don't believe there's anything in the proposed code that would make solar either less doable or more doable. Like the design standards don't really impact it either way.
Okay, good. And the only reason it came to my mind is I'm putting solar on my place next month. I'm going to be able to get all I need to meet my need. But if I had ever bought a battery powered vehicle, I would need more solar and it would be more of a problem. So that's just the experience of one dude making me think about the thing and ask the question. Any other questions for Erica on this proposed ordinance? Hearing none. Would anyone like to do the read caption and something?
I will read caption and adopt ordinance 2021-010, amending sections of the Sherwood zoning and community development code for residential design standards.
Second.
Thank you, Kim and Renee.
Ordinance 2021-010, amending sections of the Sherwood zoning and community development code for residential design standards. Counselor Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
Counselor Griffin?
Yes.
Counselor Browse?
Yes.
Counselor Young?
Yes.
Counselor Garland?
Yes.
Council President Rosner is absent. Mayor Mays?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff. Thank you, planning commission. We've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it's great that we are across the finish line. This is exciting. And as a quote, and for just dumb coincidence, somebody sent me a couple photos of a project being built in the other end of this county, and outrageous would be mild in how bad it is looking.
Ugly.
Ugly. I shared it with Kim. Ugly. So this is great. And it's a living, breathing thing, so we'll learn from it and adapt it, I'm sure, and learn from it. So next one, Erica.
Great. So the next ordinance you have before you tonight is the economic opportunities analysis. And this analysis needs to be adopted as part of our comprehensive plan, which is the next ordinance before you tonight. We haven't received any additional testimony or any testimony on the EOA. So with that, staff, supports the adoption of this document. And with that
is a brilliant staff report, concise, to the point. I appreciate it. With that, we'll close the public hearing portion of ordinance 2021-011 and ask council if they have questions about this significant document that we worked a while on as well.
Just so our audience knows, again, this is our second reading. We've had multiple work sessions, which is probably why you're not going to hear a lot of questions.
Yeah. And first, we talked about this a year ago.
Yep.
I think, as well. So it's dragged on, been updated a little bit. If nothing, do anyone want to do the read caption and something?
I move that we read caption and adopt ordinance 2021-011, adopting the Sherwood Economic Opportunities Analysis 2021 as a sub-element of the comprehensive plan.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Doug. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2021-011, adopting the Sherwood Economic Opportunities Analysis 2021 as a sub-element of the comprehensive plan. Counselor Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
Counselor Griffin?
Yes.
Counselor Browse?
Yes.
Counselor Young?
Yes.
Counselor Garland?
Yes.
Council President Rosner is absent. Mayor Mays?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff and planning commission and everyone involved to help us. Again, we'll bring this one across the finish line. A little bit hemming and hawing, but it's great. Erica, the last proposed ordinance.
Yes, the last proposed ordinance is for the adoption of the comprehensive plan. This is your second reading this evening. For folks that are out in the audience, who may be watching, the comprehensive plan really sets the roadmap for Sherwood's future over the next 20 years for development. This plan, we have been developing this plan with the community over the past 2.5 years. And we had, multiple meetings with our community advisory committee, our technical advisory committee. We had, open houses prior to COVID. We did online surveys to gather community feedback, during the past, year and a half period with the pandemic. The comprehensive plan really sets our goal. It sets goals and policies, everything from, infrastructure to housing to parks and recreation. And with that, staff is very supportive of the document before you tonight, and we support, adopting it, as well as the Planning Commission, who has forwarded the recommendation of adoption to City Council.
Thank you, Erica. And no additional citizen comments since the last meeting. So we will close the public hearing portion of this ordinance 2021-012 and open it up for council to ask Erica questions on a document that we've only reviewed and had a report on about 35 times.
No questions at all. Just huge thanks, Erica, and everybody that was involved in this. This is well past overdue. And I know that a lot of people have put a lot of hours and a lot of stressful days and nights on this, I'm sure. So fantastic to get here finally. So thanks, Erica, and everybody who did work on that I'm not naming, but I hope you know who you are.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, technical advisory committee, the community advisory committee, probably every board and commission has had some hand in some piece of this along the way. Shout out particularly to the planning commission, who's had been along the whole journey on every piece of it along with us. So all of those and more, just huge kudos and thank you for the innumerable hours that have gone into this over the last 3 years. So it's exciting to see this come to this conclusion. And now we have this great framework that we can go out and work on. And now we got a bunch more work to do in actually turning all of this into code. But that's staff work, so they can get to work now. Not that they haven't been working already, but anyway, great job, everyone.
Here. Yep, a lot of work by everybody. Good to be to this point, about to get across the finish line. Yeah, more work ahead, a little bit different, but in a lot of ways more fun. I know I never want to live through it again.
You didn't even go to the meetings. What are you talking about?
I suffered enough, and I could never, ever do what so many wonderful members of our community did with serving on the advisory and the TAC. And
it's very informational. Learned a lot. Yeah.
So would anyone like to do the read caption something?
I read caption and adopt Ordinance 2021-012, amending the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan Ordinance 1978-689 as amended to replace in its entirety the current comprehensive plan with updated comprehensive plan goals and policies.
Second.
Thank you, Renee and Kim. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2021-012, amending Sherwood Comprehensive Plan Ordinance number 1978-689 as amended to replace in its entirety the current comprehensive plan with updated comprehensive plan goals and policies. Councillor Scott, how do you vote? Councillor Scott?
A resounding yes, after I get my mute button fixed.
Great, thank you. Councillor Griffin?
Yes.
Councillor Browse?
Yes.
Councillor Young?
Yes.
Councillor Garland?
Yes.
Council President Rosner is absent, and Mayor Mays?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff and everyone. For folks watching, maybe laughing at me asking councilors to do the read caption something. I make it personal policy not to make motions. So right or wrong, I don't know. That's what I've done.
You just don't want to learn the
it's
language.
sort of funny looking. What?
You just don't want to learn the language.
Oh, I've said it many times back in the day between, yeah. Many
I think he
times.
causes enough trouble without getting involved in all the technical stuff. So leave that to us.
Okay, moving on. We don't need to beat up on the mayor any more than normal. Spencer, you have a request of us before we get to the next item on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. If the city would like to participate in the opioid settlement, the council will need to approve by motion authorization in that settlement, and at the same time delegating authority to the city manager to sign the necessary documents to participate in the settlement. And we recommend that if the council is inclined to participate in the settlement, since those documents aren't finalized, that authority be subject to review and approval of the finalized documents by the city attorney.
So Spencer, can we authorize the city manager to review and approve and sign the documents if he still likes the proposal? If he doesn't like it, we give him the authority to not.
That's exactly what you'd be doing. You're not directing him to sign the documents. You're just delegating your authority to him to use the city manager's judgment of what's in the best interest of the city.
So moving pieces, it's either that we have to do this now because of timing and all this other stuff. It's unless we call a super special meeting in the middle of Christmas, potentially, or Christmas Eve. So would someone like to make that motion?
So moved.
That works.
Seconded by Kim. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. All in favor of the motion as eloquently stated by Renee?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you.
Keith, don't travel too far because you might need to do something before New Year on this topic. Moving on, city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I want to start this evening by recognizing Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. This is the 80th anniversary of the day that lived in infamy. 2,400 Americans perished. You know, I'm amazed when I read about this. 15 medals of honor were given out during that day, and 51 naval crosses as well. So on the 80th anniversary, just want to use my time to give my remembrance for that event. Also, this is, in theory, our last meeting of the year, barring something coming up. So I just wanted to wish everyone on the council and the staff and the community happy holidays and a very joyous new year.
Awesome. Thanks, Keith. Questions for Keith or his team? I know there's questions. Don't make me call you out to ask the question or make or the praise.
Russell. Yeah. You want me to ask a question? I have a question.
Of your chief, acting chief.
Chief K2, do you have you finalized with our finance director when our first budget committee meeting is going to be?
No, we'll have that conversation and get information out so that we can have that and do the SWOT analysis. So I'll have something for you hopefully by the end of the week.
And that's
awesome.
Totally
Thanks.
not the question I was wanting you to ask. So I will ask it for you.
Hey, Russell, weren't you going to ask about how the police PD is doing their social media these days?
Oh, you want me to do that one? I was just going to do it during my, hey, good job. Because I said this to everybody who's listening and streaming. I said this before we started our work session, that I thought the recent posts on Facebook are well done. It's because apparently we have a police officer / PR pro who's also wearing a badge. And good pictures, good information. I really liked here's what happened this week in Sherwood. I think it's a great effort. I don't think you should pull back on that at all. I love it. So
Hey, Russell, it's not even just Facebook, it's Instagram as well. And my guess is if I went and looked at Twitter, it's probably on Twitter as well. But the two I look at, they're both on there. And so it's getting a lot of coverage.
Yeah, it is. Good job.
Yeah, thank you, counselors. And to your point, Kim, we do have a Twitter account. We're just not quite up to speed there yet. So we're working on it.
Great. And I have not seen any of those posts. I've heard about them. I hear they're cool, but of course I don't live
I
in
bet
that world.
neither Keiths have seen them.
We could probably print them out and put them in a book and give them to you.
There you go.
There you go.
No, Russell, if they want to see them, they know where to find them.
Yeah.
Mayor, that's the one thing to get on Facebook for, is just to see the post from the PD.
Yeah. And yet I will not.
I'm not on much either, but it's worth it to see what they're doing.
I've heard great things and had actually a chance to talk to one of the officers that does it. So he spends a couple minutes every day doing it at the tree lighting on Saturday. Kudos out to the Robin Hood Festival Association. But since I want to praise staff, great job, Public Works, for setting that all up, lighting up downtown, putting the tree up there, PD for helping keep everybody safe with the parade, the ever so short and fast parade that is the holiday parade, for the shocking huge turnout in the rain. What a great community we have. It was raining and it been a little bit breezy, and you couldn't put more people in that space. It was great. Other questions for Keith or team?
You can't hear it right now, but I apparently being caroled at my front door right now. I'm missing all of it, but that's okay. I'm a public servant, so it's okay. I just hope they leave a treat.
If you need to, take a break and not give a counselor update, we understand the
Oh,
circumstances.
no, I'm good. I'm totally good.
All right. Council announcements.
I'll go.
Great.
I just also like to thank Public Works downtown. I hadn't been down there when I drove down there the other night and all the lights were up. It's just beautiful. It just shines. I don't know if many other cities do that, but ours just looks beautiful. And a big shout out to Jordan from Public Works, who always drives our float and gets us down the street safely. No jerking us around, no spilling our hot cocoa. And we threw what we started on a rainy day thinking, oh, we're going to have tons of candy left over. Sylvia, there was no candy left over. We ran out at the end. So there were at the end lots of kids waiting for the candy. So it was a lot of fun. I don't have an update on the YMCA. Those board of manager meetings continue to get canceled. So I haven't been to one in a while. But I will say a conversation that's happening at the Policy Advisory Board for Community Development Block Grant. There's a conversation on manufacturing home communities. Councilor Rosner sat in on the last meeting for me, and unfortunately I have a conflict this week, and so does Councilor Rosner. So Julia is the staff liaison. She's going to sit in for us, but they're just trying to talk about some strategies to keep from happening what happened in the real estate boom of like 2001 to 2007, when like 1,100 households lost their homes because of redevelopment of manufacturing home communities and whatnot. And those communities usually are for lower income families and older adults, and just trying to come up with strategies on how to keep that from happening in the future. So if anybody wants any information on that, wants to provide any feedback, I think some information is going to be presented to the Board of Commissioners in January on that. So just reach out to me and let me know if you have any input.
Thanks, Kim.
That's it.
I don't have any significant updates, just really wanted to call out some appreciation for everybody. We had in our consent agenda the item about the gift certificates for our board and commissions members. And for those who may not be aware what that is, unfortunately, the second year in a row, we are unable to hold our annual appreciation night for our boards and commission members from all of our city boards and commissions who like us, are unpaid volunteers who put their time and effort into making our city better, time that they could be spending with their families or doing other hobbies that they like to do, but they've chosen to dedicate their time to making our city just a little bit better. So really just wanted to call out a big thanks to them. They've done some amazing work this year. It's been a challenge for everybody going to Zoom again, this year, but as we called out in the comprehensive plan, they've all had some impact and some positive contributions to our city over the years. So it's really wanted to call them out. Big thanks to everybody in the city. Keith for coming on as you did, and Public Works has been called out. Our library is back up and running and helping our community again. So there's just so many people to thank. So just really wanted to say happy holidays, everybody, and thanks for all the hard work everybody's doing, and have a safe holiday with hopefully with some friends and families. Do it safely, and see you in the new year. That's all I've got.
Cool.
You kind
I'll
of
go.
stole my. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, Doug. Go.
All right, fine. Sean kind of stole my thunder on the boards and commissions shout out, but just to follow up with that. So next year, when we have it in person, we have 3 times the budget, right? We can go all out. And have a big,
Yeah.
big party.
We'll have desserts.
What's that?
We'll have
More
desserts.
The only other thing, it's been kind of quiet. So the only other thing I'd really want to do is wish my daughter Lindsay. She turns 16 tomorrow, so happy early birthday to Lindsay. Happy 16th.
Awesome. 16.
So I feel terrible because my daughter Ivy turns 12 on Thursday. So happy birthday to Ivy as well. All right.
I was just going to say that, Sean. Don't you have a birthday coming up?
Yeah, Doug, we should plan this a little bit better in advance. Our comments, it sounds like we need to
We'll figure it out for next year.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. I just wanted to say happy holidays to everyone. And Craig, just to echo what everybody said about the beautiful downtown area with all the lights. I've had the opportunity to watch the guys and gals put the lights up in the wind and the rain, and they did a really, really good job. So thank you for all that. A couple updates. The Senior Advisory Board meets tomorrow to finish the SWOT analysis and to continue work on being an age-friendly city. The Library Advisory Board met a couple weeks ago, and they did their SWOT. Adrienne and her team continue to do great work in increasing the programs and services at the library. And they have got a lot more on the horizon coming up for 2022. And I also wanted to announce that on February 24th, it's the annual awards dinner for the Chamber of Commerce. So nominations are out there right now for the various business awards and leadership awards. So if you are interested in nominating a business or a leader in the community, please get those in, because that's how we have a great annual dinner, is if people nominate. So please do so. That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Renee.
Is it me? Am I the last one? That's odd. Usually I'm not last.
Yep. I don't know. I think you were listening to the carolers in one ear or something.
Maybe that's what it was. So all I had was, well, first of all, I had the Parks Board. Let's talk about the meeting. That was last night. And the Parks Board has reached this point where, okay, we have the master plan finished. And like Steve was saying, and it's very nicely sitting up on my shelf. So they collectively have decided, hey, let's have a work session in January. Let's dig into it. And let's figure out what we're going to do with this plan. So they are on it. They are totally on it. They're also, they have their ears to the ground about, they have, if you read the city's website about what the duties and responsibilities of that council of that board is, they make recommendations to us on all kinds of things. One of which is, for example, consider land use planning issues as they relate to parks and use of landscaped areas and or parks dedicated by new subdivisions and construction. So they have a say in quite a bit. So they were really brainstorming at the meeting last night about, what is next? Let's figure out what we can do. They're talking about all kinds of great things. So that happened. I missed the holiday festival on Saturday. I was not out of the rain. I was not in charge of purchasing tickets to Zoo Lights, and somebody else did. And it was about the same time. So I ended up standing outside with the animals in the wind and the rain, as opposed to at our tree. It was beautiful, but I missed everybody. And oh, a note about the tree. Harry at our meeting last night from Public Works said it was 33 feet tall. They got it from sleigh bells, so it's a Sherwood tree. But they had to cut 3 feet off because the bucket only goes up 30 feet. They couldn't decorate it, and they had to do something on the bottom because the bottom of the tree was so massive it wouldn't fit into the tree hole. I guess you can call it a tree hole, whatever we call that. Anyway, great job, Craig, and the whole team. Make sure you let them know that Kim's right. I think our downtown kicks butt. It really is nice, really, really nice. And I'm glad that whoever made that decision to let the lights go all the way down to the bottom of the tree. I know what a pain it is for Public Works. They're probably, but seriously, it looks amazing. It looks so nice. And then finally, I think we, also all the recent updates that have been coming out, like Maya at the senior center and the possibility of having that funding coming in. I just feel like we have such great people working at the city, and they are really making a difference in their little area, big area. They're making quite a big difference, I think. I just really appreciate everybody who puts all that effort in. And of course, the police department, what a great job. I was just looking at some of those Facebook posts, and I think Instagram works. It's like you look at something and then like 10 seconds later it disappears and it never comes back. And I don't like that. So I don't do Instagram because I don't get it. So I'll do Facebook. That's what I'll do. Kim, you'll have to teach me how to do Instagram someday. So that's all I got, Mayor.
All right. I learned something that Instagram something disappears. Cool.
Well, it does on me.
It's a wonder.
Only the stories. If you only the stories disappear.
See, I don't even know what that means. So whatever.
It's kind of the year is coming quickly to an end. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving with family and friends. Christmas is around the corner. On behalf of everyone, hope everybody on council, all city staff, have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's with family and friends, because it's going to be here before you know it. And certainly everyone in the community as well. Take the time. Time flies. Hug your family, hug your friends, hug your family, and celebrate and enjoy and be safe. And if you stay around town or if you go someplace, have a great time. Mom, happy birthday. Her sister, my Aunt Zetta, happy birthday. I will be killed if I say their age, but odd. They're December 7th. That's their birthday. So I'm taking them to a fancy lunch tomorrow with my cousin. So that'll be nice. Talk about other stuff going on, but that's not important. Thanks to everybody for all your hard work this year on council and staff. It's been another grind. I look forward to 2022, meeting in person, getting out and about, getting past all of this, or learning to live with this COVID thing, and lots of cool, exciting things for the city, for our community in 2022. So with that, hopefully we do not need a special meeting for something that we have not thought of, and we'll see everyone in January. So